Plot twist, the Loli Kidnapper was Reiss the whole time. The merchant was the kidnapper the whole time. We all didn't see that coming from a mile away. Now, granted, in the manga, there was a lot of emphasis on the Earl of this area all the way up until this point. I didn't want to spoil it with my previous video impressions, but yes, technically, there was a lot of gossip about this, this Earl of the area, and that a lot of people are going missing, and so this guy might be super sus. And we get into that with this episode. We finally get into the Earl. He's a damn creeper. He's a massive creeper. He's kidnapping people. Not only that, but kidnapping them, doing horrible things to them, and also killing them at the same time. And it seems like Reiss was, yes, kind of caught up in this whole situation, that the Earl had kidnapped his wife, done horrible things to her, and then killed her. And this is Reiss's big revenge plot. Now, the manga is a lot darker with this. I will admit, the anime changed a lot with this whole segment. I mean, Vulcan wasn't even there the whole time. In the manga, Vulcan's not even there the whole time. The one that, saves that little girl is like just a random lady. She actually saves the child. Vulcan wasn't even there, so they wanted to get Vulcan involved with this whole situation and actually laying out what happened. In the manga, Aria and Stella had to figure it all out. Like, they're having to, actually walk into this whole situation. They're brought in there. They want to get answers from the Earl. The whole situation with Vulcan saying, hey, let's go along with it. They might know where they're at. The butler actually tells them, hey, he might have information on your missing girl. Come to the Earl. And that's when they go over there. But yeah, there was a lot changed with the anime adaptation. Like Reiss himself, when he actually gets confronted, he's actually talking about the fact that at this point, the entire town should be slaughtered. Like, he's cool with the skeletons going through the town and slaughtering everybody before they get there and kill the Earl. Like, he wants everybody dead. So it's like, it feels a little more fluffed up in the anime. Like, oh, you kind of feel bad for Reiss in the end. Like, oh, he's gonna, go to this punishment and everything. Oh, he's still put in jail because he did this thing. No, in the manga, he's like all for it, killing everybody. Even like this other party, which is technically the party that Aria went to take out this demon with. That party is actually here. Now, the hero guy, I believe, wasn't there, but they're there and they're getting attacked by the skeletons, blood flying everywhere. It was much darker. It was much darker. Like, there's a sense at the end of everything that, like, Reiss gets what's coming to him. Like, he did technically do some bad stuff here. He does deserve some sort of punishment. By all indication, nobody dies in the end, I don't believe. But some people got injured. And there's a sense here that, yes, there's a attempted murder of a massacre of an entire village. But anyways, the episode overall was pretty solid. Again, opening up with Vulcan showing up, which, again, she's not even here, but she finally shows up. Tells them about the whole thing with the Earl. They're trying to find the Loli. The Loli has been kidnapped. And yes, that there's this Earl that is kidnapping people. And, yeah, like the butler shows up and he's like, you're pretty hot. You're pretty hot. You're pretty hot. He's just telling them all they're hot. And that the Earl would probably want to see you. He's summoning you. And then if you don't come, you're going to get put in jail. It's against the law if you don't come with us. So they're like, we got to do it. We don't have really much of a choice. They get to the Earl, and yes, they're trying to drug them. I thought for a minute there's the possibility that Tama would end up telling Stella, and then Stella would tell Aria. But in the manga, it gives the indication that Aria picks up on it. And again, Tama does a blessing that makes him immune to it. I like how Stella over there literally is like, go, this is really good tea. Like, after they figure out that they can't be poisoned by it, just chugging it down. Yeah, we're not going to be affected by you. He starts claiming that they're demons, that they need to be cleansed. Using my family technique of cleansing, I will make sure that you're purged of the devils. So we're going to put you in the dungeon. But no, that's when Reiss strikes with the skeletons. And again, Vulcan technically wasn't supposed to be there, but she does technically help out with, getting people to safety. At the same time, Aria and Stella take down some stuff and eventually lead to confronting Reiss. Which, again, very tragic whole story here. There is a sense here that Reiss was extremely wronged, that he did love his wife. I like that in the end, he does get confronted by the one skeleton that was his wife. She comes there finally and basically tells him, look, you've done a lot for me. I remember when you used to go out to get the flowers all the time for me, but you got to accept your punishment. But no, during the fight itself, I will admit there is sort of a downside to this being on Saturday, because I will watch this alongside Solo Leveling, both on Saturday. There is I don't expect there to be a massive budget for a show like this, but there's still a sense here that it feels bad to see how not animated this is. Utterly not animated this show is. Just the most basic of stills moving around. but I do like it. I think Stella was really awesome in this whole combat sequence, her kind of stepping up and tanking all the hits and everything like that, transforming very briefly and taking it on. It was really cool. It was funny to kind of see, yeah, Reiss, when he finally brings up the Earth Dragon skeleton, everything was all according to Keikaku. You brought me these fairies, you brought me the skeleton, I can finally make this massive thing. He summons up the Earth Dragon and like he floats into it with the fairy and it just turns into like it turns into a Gundam. Like the chest opens up and he comes inside there and it closes down. It's like it's a skeleton. You could fly. You could just fly between the bones, but no, we have to have it actually open up like a hatch and have him go inside of it. I'm sorry, it's little things like that I lost it. Like, I see that whole segment, I'm like, this is the stupidest thing ever that they have to make it out like it's a Gundam or something. But they fly inside there and start freaking going crazy, and then eventually, yeah, we pull the lolly out with the tentacles, and then we take it down with the super sacred blade from Aria. It was nice for once to have, like, Aria and Stella were the ones that actually took it down. Like, yes, Tama did pull away its mana source, but it was nice to have for once it's Aria's attack that actually got the job done. It wasn't just Tama always saving them. So that was a cool little nod in there to kind of show that they're actually getting stronger and whatnot, which does kind of get into it in the later parts, and the idea that, yes, if Aria is going to always be this hero of justice, if this is what she's dreaming to do, then the battles aren't over. Like, we're going to continue to have these battles. And yes, again, we're hinting at something really big coming with Vulcan and her attachment to the kingdom, that they're preparing for this big, massive return of the demons. I'm guessing a demon lord army or something like that's going to be coming, and so they're going to be fighting a lot. But yeah, like I said, the wrap up of it was sweet, having his wife come up there and say, stop, you got to take your punishment and move on, kind of thing. It was a sweet little ending, and then he had to having him go to the guillotine. There was a side of me that was almost wondering, like, there is a little bit of plot armor here. Like, they actually expected them to have this long speech, and they could have easily just, like, cut the line and let just come right down on him and go, crap, we were hoping that he would say something first so we could call him out for all of his wrongdoings, but no, they just executed him right off the bat. Damn, lucky that he actually spoke beforehand. Now, again, in the manga, they didn't have this whole sequence. Like, in the manga, after they defeated the skeleton and he kind of finally gave up, that was the point in which the Earl shows up and he's like, execute this guy. It's all his fault. Like, they just got done with the fight. The Earl comes up and says, execute him, apprehend him, execute him. And right then, that's when, yes, Aria, with this previous party, ends up informing them what actually happened. And then them with their authority end up apprehending the Earl right there. And he's like, what the hell are you doing? And then they decide to, they sort of pour the damn potion down his throat right there. The truth drops right into his mouth right there and got him to confess right there. They didn't have this whole thing where they brought Reiss in there, brought up the guillotine, and then Aria, slips it into the tea. It just happens right there and gets done with. So I actually like a lot of the changes they made with the adaptation. I think it plays out really well. And again, despite the fact that it seems less dark what Reiss was doing, at least it all kind of sums up well enough. Like, I think with the manga, I'm like, I don't understand why Reiss is still alive. Like, this makes sense to me in the anime, whereas in the manga, I'm like, Reiss would be dead. Like, there's no way he would not be killed. And again, you could probably play it into the idea the guy was super wronged. And yes, Aria, using her connections to certain people, is able to get that lessened. But either way, it's still fine. Like, we're not going to think about Reiss after this episode ends. Let's be brutally honest, all right? But no, what was really cute in the manga, and they might have a little bit of a dialogue of this in the next episode, so slight spoilers here. There is a cute little bit in the manga that is Feri's perspective. That after everything right here happens, she's really grateful of Aria and Stella for what they've done. And yes, she chooses to join their party. What it kind of gets into is the idea that for the longest time, Feri and Lily were alone in the labyrinth, living together. They were peaceful and everything like that. Then at some point, Aria comes along and she meets Tama, and she's super into Tama. He's just, the sweetest thing. He's super cute. He's super fuzzy and all this kind of stuff. And just kind of getting into the idea that they've spent time together, and over time, she really enjoys her time with them. She talks about how Stella constantly gets angry whenever she's petting Tama, but she really likes Stella too, because Stella's like full of energy, likes to play games with them, plays Thumb Wars and all this kind of stuff. She loves playing hide and seek with Tama, and yes, really appreciates Aria and how Aria takes care of them. Like, it just gets into the idea that she feels a lot of comfort, whereas before it was just the two of them. They were always alone in the labyrinth. and now finally coming out of the labyrinth, they're enjoying their time with this party. And yes, it comes to the point where she requests Aria, hey, can we join your party? Can we come with you? Can we leave the labyrinth and be with you rather than staying there? And that's when Aria kind of accepts it. She looks a little reluctant, but then Aria accepts it, and she's really appreciative of that. She wants to repay Aria and Tama for everything they've done for them. So that's kind of what it gets into. It's kind of a little sweet little excerpt there that kind of gives a little more context to Feri and Lily joining their group and now being part of them. Which, yes, does answer the question that I had with the previous episode. Will they join? I wasn't really sure. I kind of felt that they would end up joining the party just to have, again, the my first baby trope within this harem, you know, again, because they can't have characters actually get pregnant in a harem series. So you have the my first baby shows up to facilitate that. But more so in the idea that, yes, it kind of does emphasize that Feri and Lily, of course, are not front attackers, and that apparently they will be serving as supporters. Now, how they're going to be supporters, that's the question mark, because we haven't really seen them doing anything so far, except for emphasizing the idea that they do have a lot of mana. That Feri and Lily do have a lot of mana. That's why Reiss was able to use them the way that he did, was using that mana supply in order to summon a lot of, including, yes, the skeleton of the Earth Dragon, that they'll probably supply mana of some sort. I'm guessing they'll have buffs or something like that, but we'll see. But I'm kind of happy they'll end up joining. They're cute. They're a lot of fun. So, but yeah, the whole episode just wraps up with them having a bath scene. So that's was a fun little bit there. Just literally, Stella grabs Lily and uses her as a scrub. She's like, "You gotta get clean too," and starts freaking using her as a hair scrub. Vulcan over there. It's a nice spicy back end shot. Vulcan, best girl, by the way. But anyhow, that's my thoughts on the episode. It was mostly me talking about the difference between that and the manga, because it was, again, same scenario, but significantly different. They're a little bit of a different tone, which I think is kind of interesting. So anyhow, that's my thoughts on episode 7. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. As always, if you did, hit the like button down below. If you like this content, you want to support on more, and links in the description below. Greatly appreciate it. Until next time, y'all take care.